I find this to be fascinating. Apparently, the studio head was fired over James Bond and Rings of Power plus Privilege. So if you look at the reason, it seems to be that they brought drama to the workplace. Barbara Broccoli didn't get along with Jennifer Salke. A recent Wall Street Journal report claimed that Broccoli called Amazon fucking idiots. And when Amazon owner Jeff Bezos heard what Broccoli said, he ordered James Bond to be acquired at any cost, and he wanted Broccoli out. And so you realize that the people that are in power, they're incredibly arrogant, and they're causing drama at the workplace. Now, the interesting thing is that people who are arrogant and cause drama come in two varieties. One variety is actually exceptional for business, and you want people that are arrogant at the workplace. You want those toxic individuals at the workplace. The other type is extremely harmful for business, and you want those people out ASAP. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's talk about the good type of toxicity, the good type of arrogance. I want you to think of Chef Gordon Ramsay, because I think like everyone knows who he is, everyone watched his show, so you know what I'm talking about. Chef Gordon Ramsay is incredibly skilled at his craft. He is considered to be one of the best chefs in the world. He seems to know what he is doing. And so he is arrogant with other people that aren't at his level. Or at least they aren't at a level where he considers that they ought to be. And so he is very toxic and he is very arrogant. Now, if you want to get along with Chef Gordon Ramsay, what you gotta do if you work in his kitchen is to increase your skill level until you reach the level of what he considers to be acceptable for a chef to have. And if you manage to do that, then you can get along with him. So that is like the number one type of people that are arrogant at the workplace. The second type of people that are arrogant at the workplace are people that are placed in a position of power or authority without any type of merit. So they don't have the skill to be there. They haven't produced anything of value. But through various things like nepotism, having the right connections, they do manage to land a position of power. And so these people are toxic and arrogant with other individuals that are more skilled than them. Why do they behave this way? Well, because they feel threatened. They know that they don't have the skill to be in that position. And so they are worried that the boss is going to notice this at some point and is going to fire them in exchange for the other person that's more skilled to take their place. And so what they want to do is to make sure that everyone that's more skilled than them is miserable, is suffering, so that they get to quit. And then they try to replace them with their friends. And so for a person that has low skill and is placed in a position of power, they're not interested in promoting other skilled people. They're interested in promoting their friends. And unlike Chef Gordon Ramsay, who if you want to get along with, you gotta show that you have skill. With these people, if you want to get along with, you need to show that you're on their side. You need to appreciate what they're doing. You need to ass lick. You need to kiss their cheeks. You need to kiss the pinky ring. You need to prostrate yourself in front of them. And you need to show that you're not more skilled than them. And unfortunately, Western entertainment is filled with the second type of people rather than the Gordon Ramsays. And as I mentioned before, if you have the Gordon Ramsays, which are toxic and arrogant, they will do their best in order to motivate other people to increase their skill level. And if they can't, they will torture them until they quit so that someone else can take their place, who hopefully will get at the level that Chef Gordon Ramsay wants. The other group of people are going to do their best to make sure that your business doesn't have any type of skilled individuals and is just staffed with their friends, acquaintances, and nepotism. So that if you ever try to get rid of the unskilled person, well, now you have workers going out on strike. Now they're calling their friends in the press in order to slander your company. This is like their evolutionary method of resisting inside the company once they get in. And as I mentioned before, you know, the Western entertainment industry is filled with these people. If you look at Netflix, for instance, especially in a time when it was suffering because it made the decision to increase its subscription price, and a lot of people were shutting their accounts. And I think like the controversy with cooties also coincided with that time period, so like more people were canceling the account. They managed to get Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle manages to get like a really successful show going, manages to get a lot of people interested in Netflix again. But the people that were rooted in the company, the ones that are very arrogant, that bring the drama to the workplace, that don't create value, well, they did a walkout. They demanded, like, apparently one of the seniors like broke in to a director meeting, and they demanded that they cancel Dave Chappelle. And if Dave Chappelle wasn't that popular, like if he wasn't getting the numbers that he was getting, he might have probably got canceled. But Netflix made the correct decision and didn't cancel it. But this is what's happening, right? Like, this is how these people got power. And to finally see that they're being kicked off for their arrogance, for bringing drama at the workplace, for lack of professionalism, for lack of producing anything of value, is a welcoming change. However, I don't think it will fix much. Because the mentality that people have is like, well, these companies are being held by these activists, and if we get rid of the activists, then the companies will produce great works again. Well, unfortunately, these activists were in those companies for so long that I generally don't think they have a lot of creative individuals left. And so even if you change the studio head, it's probably going to be replaced by another one of their friends that has the same mindset, same talking points, and most importantly, the exact same insecurities, and it's not going to accomplish much. It's a step in the right direction, but I don't think it's enough. I mean, think about it this way, right? Like, Lord of the Rings. That's a cinematic masterpiece. Recently, I watched it again with my wife, and so many years later, despite the fact that we live in an age with better technology, better special effects, more astonishing CGI than ever, the same Lord of the Rings that I watched when I was a kid is just as amazing today. Is just as powerful of a cinematic experience today. Meanwhile, if you watch Rings of Power plus Privilege, it doesn't make me feel anything. There's no emotion in it. I don't feel anything for any of the characters. The writing is bad, etc., etc. But the arrogance of the people working on that project is probably sky high. Why? Because they think that, oh, they got the IP, and so therefore they're great, right? Like, why are you great? Well, I work on Rings of Power plus Privilege. It's like, yeah, but you didn't create the original. Like, you're not associated with Tolkien. You're not associated with the director of the original trilogy, right? You're just stealing his valor. That's what they're doing. They're stealing the valor of the people that were better than them, and they bring on the arrogance as if they're responsible for creating the first work when it was just handed to them by a corporation that had the money to buy the IP. And again, you know, like, I have no idea how the director of the original trilogy is like in real life. If he gets along with people or not. But, like, let's assume he's an arrogant prick. And he constantly brings the drama to the workplace. At the end of the day, I, as a company, I wouldn't fucking care. I wouldn't fucking care, because he backs his shit, right? He produces amazing works of value. And I'm like, well, as long as he gets it done, I generally don't fucking care the way he behaves with other people at the workplace. If other people have a problem with it, right, like, get on his level, and then we can talk. But until you're at his level, I don't even want to hear from you. Meanwhile, the mindset is completely different for these productions. The mindset is like, well, you know, I'm getting bullied, I'm getting harassed, I can't produce anything, but it's not fair, you know, toxic environment, get rid of this guy. And this guy, you know, just happens to actually bring value and actually is a person that's worth keeping. But, like, you're getting rid of him. Why? Well, because he doesn't have the favor. Like, maybe, you know, he had the wrong take on Twitter. Or maybe he said something upsetting about Israel and Palestine. Or whatever the fuck, you know, that has absolutely nothing to do with the work that he is putting in. But like, because he doesn't have the favor of the little boss, of the person that's arrogant and doesn't produce value, he has to be fired. And it's just one guy, right? Like you can still run a company by firing one talented person, but like if it becomes a trend, if it becomes systemic, which unfortunately in a lot of Western companies has become, well, you're not going to be able to produce amazing stuff anymore. So yeah, change in the right direction, but I think it's too little too late. I don't think that we're going to see Amazon producing anything awesome in the future, at least not for the next 5 or 10 years. We'll see if I'm wrong, but I doubt it. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.